Unlike many people, I knew when I took in, I knew when I got pregnant. Hello, my name is Nanklin and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If today is your first time something on this channel, you are welcome. So welcome to day one of my 30 days pregnancy journey series. For me, my pregnancy didn't take me by surprise. It was well planned, it was well calculated. We actually spoke about it, we had a discussion and agreed to stay a while before having a baby. And the reason is simple. Marriage is an entirely beautiful entity, and then it has to do with two separate individuals coming together to form this entity. All right, so for those who are lucky with marriages and in marriages, it usually leads to old age and all. But some others that may be unlucky with marriages, it ends just even before the beautiful moment starts. But this isn't to say marriage is not a beautiful union. It is. Just pray that you end up with a kind partner, with a mindful partner, and trust me, you get to enjoy marriage. So I will be talking about how mine happened. Okay, so for me, we had a discussion about having a child, and then we knew we wanted to stay a while to get to understand each other before having a baby. And trust me, this always comes with lots of disputing opinions and all. So we knew we needed time to really align in certain things. And then when we thought we were ready, we had a baby. Though somewhere down the line, I will tell you the actual reason why I had a baby when I had a baby. But we waited for about a year plus before having a baby. And then I remember when I was ready to have a baby, I was serious. Also, trust me, I never used pills. So people say you use pills to stop pregnancy. I never used pills. All right. So what worked for me was I knew my cycles. So I was always calculating my cycles, and I avoided any intimacy during my cycles and during my ovulation and all. So when I was ready, when we're ready to have a baby, we knew. And then we had her. So 2 weeks after that intimacy, I was already saying, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. Every morning I'll check my tummy in the mirror, like, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. I kept saying it. So I started feeling sick. I started to feel sick, really. And normally when I feel ill, I just take on malaria drugs because I know it's not beyond malaria. But for some reasons, because I knew I was ready for a baby, I just knew, I don't want to do self medication. So I went to the hospital to say, doctor. So I told the doctor, I'm like, I'm unwell and it's giving malaria symptoms, but I would love to do a pregnancy test because I feel I am pregnant. I know the first thing they'll ask you is when you had intercourse, and I told the doctor 2 weeks ago. The doctor looked at me like 2 weeks ago. So how do you know you're pregnant? I said, doctor, I don't know, but I just know that I am pregnant and I would love to run a pregnancy test. And then the doctor was like, okay. So he sent me to the laboratory to go run my pregnancy test. So after running the test, they wouldn't give you the results in my hospital. They don't give you the result. They send it straight to the doctor again. You have to go back to see the doctor. And then when I went back to see the doctor said, yes, I had malaria. I was like, oh, okay, yes, I knew I had malaria, but I didn't want to take on self-medication because I didn't know what was good for me at that point. I was now waiting for the results. The doctor hesitated. I didn't know why, but I just felt, okay, maybe I wasn't pregnant. Then he now said, it returned positive. That was how he said it. It returned positive. I'm like, sorry, what returned positive? He said, you are pregnant. I said, oh my God. I knew it. That was my exact reaction. I said, I knew it. And he was like, is this your first pregnancy? I said, yes, it's my first pregnancy. So he was like, how long have you been expecting? I said, no, I wasn't really expecting. I just started expecting now, and I just knew I was pregnant because I just knew I was pregnant. pregnant. So the doctor just said, congratulations. And I was genuinely super excited. And I actually wanted to hold my excitement. I didn't want to tell anybody about it. But then, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not yet a subscriber, so you can get to see what I did next upon hearing I was pregnant. It's your girl Nanklin, and see you in my next video.